What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Steve Trevor should return, or will he return, for Wonder Woman 3. So this is something that has definitely come up on the internet. You just kind of saw, especially, I would say, the more negative viewpoint towards Wonder Woman, which we talked about. I did a full review on my second channel. But, I watched ones like Angry Joe. Even Angry Joe talked quite a bit about, the idea of Steve being in this movie. Did he hurt it? Did he help it? And, could he be back in a future movie? I will spoil it rather early where I stand on it, but I do want to ask that question. In fact, actually, the title should tell you what I think about it, right? That I don't think it should happen, and I'll explain why as we go along. So, if you guys are new and you guys have liked this stuff, and I've talked quite a bit about Wonder Woman over the last, week or so, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. And again, if you want to check out even more content on anything, and also Wonder Woman, I'll have my second channel in the description below. It's called Podcast Now Plus. I reviewed the movie there, and I also talked about the controversy of Steve basically, stealing a body from another person. So, that whole controversy is on the internet. I talked about that on my second channel as well. So let's talk about this. Look, there's a lot of issues with Wonder Woman 1984. I'm definitely on the more negative end of it. I enjoy parts of it. I would have said, the first day, second day, or second day, third day, that I enjoyed the movie. I just didn't love it. It has gone down. The more I think about this movie, the more I tend to not like it. I do definitely love parts of it. Number one, probably being Gal Gadot, right? And I think she does a phenomenal job as Wonder Woman. I saw a lot of people say, she's still not the greatest actress. I mean, okay, that's obviously true, but I think she does the best job of acting that we've ever seen from her. Truly, I do believe that in this movie. So I give her credit there. And I'm trying to, why am I saying this? I'm trying to give you guys some positives. I do think Steve being in this movie, Chris Pine is an amazing actor. I think him being in this movie, I wouldn't say saved it, because I do think this movie has a lot of really bad problems with it, but I would say it was one of the shining moments, okay? I really did love pretty much every time they were together. They are such a good, they're just so good with chemistry, and, I can't remember every single time, but, the first, when he said the famous lines again, when they're walking, kind of dressed up really nice, and they're kind of, dancing on that path, those were amazing moments, and then them saying goodbye. So, and by the way, I guess this is going to contain spoilers for the movie, right? So if you haven't watched it, I guess, and you don't want to be spoiled, stop now. But she obviously has to give him up, okay? She has to give him back up. And I thought, I looking at it now, especially after watching certain reviews of it, I do see definitely some issues to the overall thing. But again, I think Gal completely sells the entire thing. And I think he does an amazing job too. So seeing those two together really was amazing. But here's the deal. The movie's not about him. It's not called Steve Trevor 1984. And that's what Angry Joe said, right? It's not called that. It's called Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman really, I do agree with this. She didn't have a lot to do in this movie. And then when she did, it was cool. I mean, some moments were cool. And obviously she had the losing her powers to deal with. But here's the deal. I don't think you could do this again. In fact, I feel like it would kind of become a joke if you did this again. It wouldn't, and we can make fun of the movie, we can criticize the movie all we want, but in all reality, in terms of even the characters, even what these movies are trying to do, I just don't think it would be fair really to anybody. Well, number one, we know Wonder Woman 3 will take place in the present day. Now, funny enough, Patty Jenkins has even talked about how she said in an interview a couple days before they announced Wonder Woman 3 that she had 2 plans left for 2 future movies. So is she saying there's going to be 4? But then they said the third one is the ending of the trilogy. So I don't necessarily understand what's going on. But no matter what, third movie, present day, I just don't see how you can bring him back. The only way I see it, technically there's a loophole here, okay? I do not want him back in the way they brought him back in 1984, okay? Because I do agree with this. He had nothing to do. Truly nothing to do. The only reason he was there there's a couple of reasons. Number one was so that she could give him back and they could have that emotional kind of arc, which did work. I would say that worked. That was one of the only things in the movie that did work, okay? A handful of things. So that worked fine, but that was kind of the reason. And then besides that, it was kind of just to do the whole, person from another time period in a new time period. Let's see how they react to how the world's changed, right? That kind of trope, which some things were funny, but also some things don't make sense. Why was he so caught off guard with all of these things he experienced when he was in that body for a full day and stalked Diana across the entire city and even made it his way to her apartment and then found her at the Smithsonian? How did he do all of that in a day and not experience what a trash can looked like. So, while it was played off for like jokes, and some of it was funny, it absolutely was, it actually didn't make sense because they were pretending like it was the first time he saw these things, when in reality, he must have been very confused the first day then if he was confused like that on day 2. Okay, so like I get why they did it. There's like two main reasons, really, in my opinion. There's 2 reasons why they did it, but I don't think you could do. I mean, how could you do it a third time, right? Because the Wishing Stone, I mean, I guess the Wishing Stone, I think, is destroyed. However, the Wishing Stone technically is only destroyed if everybody gives up their wish, or you kill it, or like you break it. Now like Maxwell gave up his wish. But, like, is the stone still gone? Because it seems like, even from the hints that Patty Jenkins said, like, Kristen Wiig is still Cheetah. Now, she can maybe, like, morph back and forth from Cheetah, but she still probably has superpowers, okay? So does that mean the Wishing Stone is still around? But you can't do that again, right? You can't wish for Steve back, right? And beyond that, again, like, from a movie point of view, it kind of hurts the whole thing. Like, Diana being just stuck in a rut for, like, 50 years because she can't, like, move on. Well, like, I get it. Because if you love somebody that much, and I mean, I get it, then maybe you don't ever move on, right? So I guess that's fair, but the fact that they kind of just have her, like, she opens the farm and all that kind of stuff, everything dedicated to Steve, but then basically, him telling her, it hurts him. It really hurts him because the last things he says to her is the whole, like, you have to basically, like, live your life. Like, you have to move on. That was one of the main things he said as she was about to give him up, right? So to have her continue to kind of like weep and like just do nothing because she just feels so bad about him is a disservice to what he said to her, and it's also a disservice to her character, where it's like, so she's so constrained by one guy, although she loves him, and again, I do get that, she's so constrained by one guy she can't do anything else, right? She has to go into hiding, all this kind of stuff. It's like that's not really who Wonder Woman is, and that kind of goes with the theme that maybe like Patty Jenkins kind of forgot that in general in this movie, in Wonder Woman 1984. So I just don't see how you do it. Now, and I know I promised the loophole like 10 minutes ago, but the loophole is she could like see him in a dream. She could imagine him very briefly. So I'm talking like a cameo. I'm talking like under a minute. And I do, by the way, with a character that is that important, that a character that probably should have only been in the first movie, but has made his way into both and is a main character of both films, okay? I don't really see how you have the third movie, the ending of the trilogy, right? The ending of this Wonder Woman saga. I don't know how you have that without him. But at the same time, how you bring him back is very important, because you cannot have him be, again, you can't, I wouldn't even say main character. You can't have him have any kind of significant role into the movie. You need to have him, if you're going to have him, which again is fine, dream sequence or an imagination sequence that Diana has. Maybe she's like badly injured and she sees him. Maybe she's just like sleeping one night and she sees him. However they want to do it, but I think that's it. And again, it lasts like one scene. It's them talking. It's them having like a nice little catch up, right? But it's all like in her head, okay? Obviously, he can have a personality. He can be real. He can be saying new things. But she's like, it's like a figment of her imagination, okay? That's the only thing that can happen. I do think, by the way, I mean, it happens all the time, right? There's tons of TV shows, movies, games, etc. that all have those things that have happened in it. There's plenty of good ways of doing it, okay? It's just you gotta watch how much you use him, because again, I think it's weird because he kind of hurt 1984. At the same time, he was one of the better parts of, you know what I mean? Like he had nothing to do besides flying the jet, which then opened up a whole nother can of worms of like, how did he know how to fly something 50 years later? There's no way that would have transferred. And how did Diana, when losing her powers, manage to completely shield the jet to make it invisible, only because you wanted to have the invisible jet? You know what I mean? So again, like really you could find a problem with every single scene in Wonder Woman, but I really liked their chemistry. I think their chemistry is absolutely phenomenal. There's really, and it's very organic, and they've talked about that, but I just think you got to be very, very careful with him. Okay, so I would say do not put him in the third. I'm sure there's people out there that say don't put him in at all. I do think there's a way, right? A very, very small scene, but I would say you got to keep it extremely, extremely minimal. Okay, let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Should he return? Will he return? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. Again, I've talked about quite a few different aspects of Wonder Woman. I have a few more that I'm kind of testing out to see maybe if people will want it, so we'll see how those go. Again, my second channel is called Podcast on Plus. I've covered Wonder Woman over there as well. The link for that is in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Happy New Year's. I forgot to say it at the end of the video. I want to say in the beginning, but Happy New Year's. Happy January 1st. Hopefully 2021 is better, right? I had some good things happen in 2020. I do agree, though, that it was probably a pretty terrible year, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.